Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, hello. It's Roz and Mocha. How are you?
Very well. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Let's all agree to try our best not to speak moistly right now.
Well, I'm glad I'm at a safe distance from you then.
Wow.
So listen, let's talk about Pride. Of course, much like a lot of events happening or lack of not happening across the country, Pride is now a virtual event. What will your involvement be this weekend?
I have recorded a whole bunch of videos. I'm, trying to make sure that as many people are supporting virtually as possible. This is a difficult situation for everyone. We've all had to adjust, but it is something I'm going to miss deeply, not being in a whole bunch of different prides across the country over the course of the summer. I think one of the things that we have to recognize is this virtual phase we're in is not the same as being there for each other, and far too many people are cut off from their support networks, particularly if you're a teenager living at home and not exactly a supportive environment around you. You don't have access to the kinds of support networks you usually do, so people really need to know that we're there for each other.
The reason it is virtual is because, of course, we're all in the middle of COVID. The big story today, and I want to get your take on this, is that the proportion of Canadian COVID-19 deaths in long-term care facilities is about twice the average rates from other developed nations. And this is the brutal number. Long-term care residents made up 81% of all reported COVID deaths in Canada, compared to an average of just 42% in other countries. I know last month you said that everything is on the table, but given these numbers today and with all the talk of a second wave, what are you doing today to make sure that our seniors are safe? Because this is an emergency.
Well, today, like every week, I will be sitting down with the premiers virtually and talking about this. We have put on the table about $14 billion, including significant amounts of money to help them get the long-term care situation under control. Obviously, it is a terrible tragedy. The federal government doesn't have direct responsibility for it, but we want to be supportive. The provinces have really, really struggled in terms of providing the right kind of care, as we saw from those damning reports out of Quebec and Ontario. But we need to do better right across the country, and these are the things that we'll be talking about tonight, and encouraging the provinces to actually take the money that the federal government wants to send them to help in long-term care facilities.
Should this not be a federal issue, though, like what health care is in this country?
But healthcare is not a federal delivery issue. Healthcare is a provincial delivery.
No, what I mean is we all get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all get it. We all know that we're going to be looked after, that our governments are going to take care of us. And then there's just a problem in Canada where once you reach a certain age, you get put in a home, and we expect great care. And I just don't know if this is something that should be sort of parsed away, where I don't know what the bigger solution is. Is there a bigger solution? Is there a sort of universal fix? Because I just really get the feeling that we're failing people.
Well, I absolutely agree. There are provinces that are doing better than others, and I think we do need to look at the decisions that provincial governments have made over the past number of years and decades on delivery of services to seniors. Yes, the federal government can do more around setting standards, and we've talked about that. We've even talked about maybe bringing national care under seniors care under the National Health Act.
Mm-hmm.
But those are big steps that we will take in conversation or talk about in conversation with the provinces. But certainly something absolutely has to change. We cannot continue to not properly take care of our seniors.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is on the Roz and Mocha Show. I want to ask you about our borders, because realistically, how long can we keep our borders closed from the U.S.? Because you see the numbers, especially today. California's gone up, Texas has gone up, Florida is through the roof, and I know that there is a specific end date to the borders being closed. But how long can we extend that? Are we talking months and months until the end of the year? What have those discussions been like?
Well, they've been very positive. The Americans understand that that there is an interest in keeping these borders closed to non-essential travel, and we've been renewing those month by month, and we will continue to look at the situation. But our top responsibility is to keep Canadians safe, and we will continue to do what's necessary.
One of the things that we're proud of up here is the amount of quality television and film that is shot from production companies all over the world in Canada. And there's an insurance issue right now, and that is new productions can't get insurance that covers them for a COVID lockdown. They can't take that loss. And so current productions can still come back, but the idea of new productions, and I know that they've asked you guys to sort of set up, I don't even know what it would be, like they would pay into an insurance type thing that was run by the government, that you guys would cover off certain expenditures if people did need to shut down because of COVID. Is that going to happen?
Well, listen, as you say, it's still very much uncertain. We understand how important the cultural industry is in Canada, and we've done massive amounts to support artists and writers and the production of creative content across this country, and we're going to continue to. We'll look at various challenges on that.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, one final question for you. What is your message to all Canadians listening right now who have been in lockdown and following the rules, and those who may not believe in the pandemic, or those who are just like completely fed up of staying indoors and just wanting to be outside, wanting to be with their friends, with their families, outside of these social kind of circles, the bubbles that they've created right now, because there is a lot of frustration across the country?
Listen, I mean, I think people behaved extraordinarily well, which allowed us to flatten the curve, and nobody wants to go back into lockdown. So people have to be smart about the choices they make. Yes, we've been able to loosen a whole bunch of the restrictions, but if a second wave hits us once again, we're going to have to tighten up again. So being really, really smart and careful about what we do is going to be key to making it through the rest of this year without having to shut down again. I mean, this is unlike many global crises where people feel powerless to make a difference. Every single Canadian has an ability to affect the course of this crisis in Canada by the choices they make, and Canadians for the most part have been extraordinary about doing the right things, which has allowed us to flatten the curve, and we just have to keep it up and stay smart.
And I know we've said this about John Tory, who's our mayor, and Doug Ford, who is the premier, and you as the prime minister. I know all of you guys don't always agree on everything, but I think that when it came to COVID, that the honesty that sort of the three of you sort of displayed and got everybody through it, I think that we can all be proud of it. And I think that people from other places in the world look at the way possibly three people who do not agree on everything managed to get millions of people through this. So thank you for that.
No, listen, it's a reflection of who Canadians are. I mean, Canadians pull together and support our neighbors in a time of crisis, and leaders get the opportunity to reflect that back to Canadians at the highest levels. We're all lucky to be serving this country at this time.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, we know you're super busy. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join us on the Roz and Mocha Show.
When we're all out of this, will you come back on this show and do Speaking Moistly Live?
We'll have to see. Talk to you guys soon.
I'm telling you, man. Like, that would be the thing that, like, if we all get out of this, that would be the way to do it. That's the
whatever motivates you to do the right thing, just cling to that. How's that?
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, everybody. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, guys. Happy Pride.
You.
Happy Pride. Take care.